Hi everyone, welcome to today's stream. Just saying one thing, this is not the ZBrush event. The ZBrush event starts from 3 hours from now, so we need to wait a little bit more. So I'm sorry. So okay, welcome everybody. A lot of people are coming, still coming, so we can wait some few minutes. So thanks to everyone for being here, waiting, even before the stream starts. It's a big pleasure for me, and bienvenidos a todos. So again, the ZBrush event will start in 3 hours from now. So I'm the guy who goes before the event. Okay, let me know if you can see me, you can hear my voice. Everything is okay about my voice. Maybe the music is not too loud. Maybe I'm gonna change the music because this music is a bit too crazy for but I only have. Let's try some ambient music instead of dance music or whatever is playing now. Let me see where is the. Okay, maybe this one should be better. Saludos, saludos Alfredo. Good evening. Good evening, good night, good morning for many people from many different places. So today I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with. You have seen my previous stream. I was making this ring, but I could not completely finish it. So today I'm gonna give it the final touches and just a few minutes, and then we are gonna start with something new. As I was publishing on my on my social media, I going to talk today about. Here I have my references. Here today we are going to talk about ribbons, this kind of things that you can find into many kind of designs for mostly maybe for signet rings or CNC milling or carving uh, jobs. I think it's going to be useful for you because I'm going to tell you how to do these items, this kind of ribbons, which they are very common to find on uh, coat of arms, shields, and many other designs. Mainly, I'm gonna talk about again about reliefs. So I'm gonna create this for an application for being applied as a relief. If we can talk about a jewelry piece, as I said before, maybe a signet ring or big rings, it's very common where you can find this kind of crests, this kind of coat of arms, shields. And I found interesting to talk about how to do this because I think it's a bit complicated to achieve this kind of S-shaped forms or to sculpt them. I'm going to show you my way of working. I hope it will be interesting for you. But we're going to start with the ring anyway. So again, let me know your questions or your comments. I'm gonna try to pay as more attention as possible on the chat. I'm gonna try to read all of your comments. Da-da-da. Rock and roll, yes. Let's go. Getting from Brazil. Good video. Yeah, the video will be available on all of the Pixologic channels. So you will find it on the YouTube channel, Twitch channel, and on the Pixologic Facebook page. I need to. Alfredo is asking. I need to figure out how to design in ZBrush and export somehow from CNC routing in Good. Any suggestion us to workflow? Yeah, we were. I was talking about reliefs. on my previous streams. And also, if you go to my YouTube channel, you will find some content about how to sculpt reliefs inside of ZBrush. And you can export the STL file and you can carve it in wood, stone, or whatever you want. So let's go. Let's meet. You need to. The only way you need to export is just because you know that with ZBrush you are able to export the files into OBJ or STL formats. Mainly the STL format is the most common one. It's the format that you can use to use it on your CNC routing machine. I think today most of them are able to use STL files. It is not necessary to export a specific file for CNC carving, as far as I know. All the clients that comes to me that they requires me reliefs to be carved in CNC machines with an STL or even with an OBJ format, it's enough for them. So the only thing that you must keep in mind during the sculpting process are to try to avoid the undercuts, and you are familiar with the CNC way of working or the reliefs way of working, so you need to pay attention to those points. So anyway, you can revise my YouTube channel, or you can go to the Pixologic website again on YouTube, and you will find I was making on a previous stream a coin relief, so maybe it's going to be useful for you. Okay, you are welcome. Okay, let's go revise the comments. Okay, so let's go. So the only thing that it's necessary to do this on this ring, I was talking before, because this looks like it's too thick. Okay, before doing anything, I'm gonna select the mandrel. This is the mandrel. This is this tool that I'm using for make the finger hole or the ring size. I'm gonna open here my left tray, go into the scale master. I'm gonna set up the units first. I'm gonna work in millimeters, so I'm clicking here. So this is already 20.5 by 20.5. This is a 20.5 diameter millimeter size. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make a duplicate. I'm gonna hide the other because let's put this on a negative. I see that this part, I'm gonna use the transpose line to take a measurement here. Here I'm reading that this line from this point to this is, for me, it looks like maybe too thick. This is around 3 millimeter thick. Maybe if I check the measurement, maybe it's not too thick, but I prefer to give this. I forgot to open my Epic Pen tool to start painting on the screen. So we were saying on the previous stream that this would be better to make something more rounded. Try to avoid these sharp edges in the internal surface on the ring. And this is with the light boolean, it's quite simple to fix. The first thing that I'm gonna grab, I'm gonna put the cylinder at the bottom of the list of all of this tool. And I'm going to turn off my transparency. I'm gonna sort of turn on the symmetry on the Z-axis, up and down. I'm gonna make a mask here, like this. Invert the mask, and now let's come back to the gizmo. Let's turn off the symmetry, send it to the center, and I can start making this. You can see how simple it is just to make a bevel on a band of the ring, on a simple band, because this is completely circular. This is very easy to do this. And we already have this kind of beveling on the border of the ring. Okay, so once we have this, let me check this out. The topology. This is what I was making. Just giving this kind of deformation to make the bevel on the internal face of the ring, so that I can remove the mask. And I'm going to select this ring. Let's turn on my dynamic subdivision, because you can see it looks like tool with not enough resolution. You can still see the facets of the polygons. We turn this on, we can see that everything becomes softer or round. So that's why I forgot to crease my polygroups. If I crease the polygroups, this is what we get. This is what I am looking for. So now I am ready to make the final Boolean operation. Let's go to the Boolean, turn on this dynamic subdivision button, because we are using dynamic subdivision, and let's make the Boolean. Okay, let's wait, because we have a lot of subtools. They're not too much, but we should be waiting just for a few seconds. And now it's ready, the Boolean. This is the final. This is the final design. Let's see. This part doesn't look like, maybe I forgot to apply the noise here on the surface. Where is the surface? The noise is here. Oh, I forgot to apply the noise. Let's apply the noise. Let's apply it twice, because to get more success on the printing. So let's make the Boolean again. I forgot to apply the noise on the background. Hola, Luis Enrique from Brazil. Good afternoon. It's amazing to have so many people from many different places and be able to talk with all of you. So now it's ready. This is the good one. So we only have about 2 millions. It's not too heavy. One thing that I like to do, once I have the Boolean done, I go to split and split to parts to know that the mesh is composed by more than one mesh. ZBrush is telling to me that it is not composed by multiple parts, so it's okay. And I'm going to grab the mandrel from the original. This is the mandrel. Append, and this is the mandrel. I'm going to decimate it. Maybe with about the decimation, the amount of decimation that you need. The main rule that I have is that if you don't have too many details, 75,000 polygons, it's okay. But I prefer to stay in the middle between 75,000 and 250,000 polygons. Let's try first 150,000 polygons. So we'll start from 2 million, and we're going to get the same design with less amount of polygons, so not so density mesh. Hola Manuel. Hi Manuel. And once we have the mesh decimated, it's going to be lighter than before. So we went from here to here. You can see that the detail is the same. If we try even less polygon, let's try 175,000. Here we are start noticing some loss of detail, you can see, but according to the final size of the ring, this is going to be more or less something like this. We are not going to be able to watch it on the printed version, but I prefer to keep it as this is a good number for export file for printing or for many other purposes. So now, as I said before, this is my finger size, as I was revising before, 20.5 millimeter. And I'm going to make a different size. Let's create a duplicate from this. This is going to be very easy to make. For example, if you have this is going to be, we can export this directly into export. A good habit that you can take is before export anything, one thing that you can do in many cases will helps to avoid mesh issues. You can go to the mesh integrity and check the mesh first. And the ZBrush is not finding anything wrong. It's okay, but if you still want to fix the mesh, you can fix the mesh. The ZBrush is going to be able to fix little issues on the mesh, so maybe it's going to help on the printed process. So I can export this on a STL format, and that's it. For example, if you were looking for another finger size, you can go to the scale master. This is very important. You should be working on the right subtool, in this case the mandrel. Now it's 25. For example, if we decide to make it 21 now, and keeping this button active, you will resize the tool you have selected, and you will resize all of these tools according to the change that you are going to apply on the selected subtool. This is going to be very useful for change finger sizes. So clicking here, and now you have another finger size. You can start export this. This is going to be, let me export it first. This is the, I'm gonna use the STL format, for example. STL, and this is the ring 21. Okay, and let's come back again to the 20.5 to try it. File was successfully exported. Coming back again to the mandrel, and now we can say we are looking for another one bigger, 22. Here we are talking about millimeter internal diameter size, and now resize tool, and now I have another size. Let's export this in STL format again, and this is going to be the ring 22. And one more time. And let's come back to here, and let's select a 20.5 resize subtool, and this is going to be the last one. Export it. Let's put here the STL. This is the 20.5. Export. If you want to import it, you can select any other subtool of the tool from the toolbox. Import. I'm gonna import, for example, the ring. This is going to be the smaller one. And let's duplicate it to create a new space. Let's import. Let's import the next one. This is going to be the 21. You can see now the differences, and now the third one we were creating. Import on 22. Okay, so here you can see the differences between each one. You can, this is the bigger one, this the medium one, and the smaller one. And that's it. Luis Enrique is asking, this detail, did you use which of the ZBrush brushes? You are talking about how I create the surface details. I think that you should check out this. Yeah, right. Thank you very much for sharing the stream. You should be checking the previous streams. I was using mainly the main brush that I was using is the curved tube snap brush. So start making little tubes and start sculpting and deforming the tubes according to the design. I was using many different brushes, mainly to start creating the base mesh. It's going to be the curved tubes, and I was using the SK slash brush, the SK curve. I was using it with a trick, with a tip that I was showing to you, using the curve pinch brush that it's very useful on this case. Curve to where it is the curve pinch this brush. So I recommended you to revise the previous streams. Okay, so we already have this ring completely done and ready for printing. If you have any other questions referring to this job or to this ring, you can send it to me on the chats. Okay, so we are gonna start talking about the theme of today. But yeah, you made ornaments in Rhino and imported to ZBrush to decrease the poly count. What's the best settings? Series measure, share without losing details. Okay, if you don't want to lose details, I think the best way is decimation. You should be decimating the mesh, because if you make a series measure trying to get a lower amount of polygons, always you are gonna lose a bit of detail. So if you don't want to lose any of the detail, I think that the best way, as I did before on the previous stream, I was making the big ornament, because it was about 4 millions, I think. Just only this piece, only this piece, this part, only one piece. What I was doing is to start to decimating to reduce the amount of polygons and be able to replicate as many copies, as many instances as necessary, following the contour of the band. So I was using the decimation process because it's not going to be necessary to sculpt anymore. I already have it already sculpted, already detailed. So what I was using is following the decimation process. A Greek pattern, yes. How was it work? Do you mean this kind of? I think the Greek. What I understand about the Greek, or maybe it's going to be the most common one. I already have here inside of my folder in my brushes. I made one brush. It was a Greek. It has some well-known. This one, where you can create this kind of pattern. Yeah, right. So what you can do now is, for example, you can, I don't know if you are looking forward to, for example, you can make this surrounding the band if necessary. Maybe in this one, this is going to be better. Instead of trying to drag the curve on the surface and trying to grab all the path around the circle of the ring, what you can do is you're gonna coming back to this one, maybe to this one. Yeah, I already have this one. This one is the one before the decimation. So I'm going to grab it. For example, this part. I'm going to go now to the stroke, curve functions, and turning off polygroups and creased edges. I'm gonna use the border to frame the mesh. So I already have a curve, and only thing is just touching this. You will get this pattern surrounding. If you want to get rid of the internal thing, let's make it. What you can do is to split mask point, and now you can, for example, mask this one. Maybe we can grab mask lasso. We can put this in. You can split mask points, and you can. This is the right one. This is the I want to remove, delete, and ready. So you can make it maybe taller or bigger or smaller, depending on what you need. Yeah, I was wondering, do you know how to make it? Yes, that's the Greek pattern. And you can see this is what how I make this is with I have different pieces. It's just to make the one single piece. I'm gonna turn off the curve mode on the brush. Curve, turning this off. This is what I am using. You can do this very easily with the C modeler to make this. So once you have the piece, you turn the curve mode, you're going to be able to start repeating a single mesh as many times as necessary along a curve. Yesterday, Arnaud is asking, yesterday I make that brush in ZBrush. I have some problem to cut and make hole all around. What is the best process for you to do all in? I don't really understand what you mean. This is, I'm gonna read it again. Just yesterday I make that brush in ZBrush. I have some problem to cut and make hole all around. What I already did to try to put it surrounding a band. No, I'm not selling the brush, but you can see this is going to be very useful. I think you can do it by yourself. But you can do this. You can grab a cube, make the polymesh. I recommend you to, before start working with the cube that ZBrush is giving to you. As the original cube, you can go to initialize and you can make a cube which has something like this. It has two faces, four faces. I'm sorry, for each face. You can group normals. For example, I can now, grabbing the C modeler, I'm gonna make a new polygroup here. QMS polygroup all. You're gonna start extruding this, and it was. I'm gonna select this. I need the reference because my memory is not good enough to remember exactly. So I'm gonna put this here, for example. I'm gonna come back to you to the cube. So you can do. You already have this. What you can do now, for example, let's select here insert H. No, maybe make this one a little bit longer. Now this is going to be like this. This should be more something like this, and we can slide this H till here. You can grab. We can make a new polygroup here, making a little bit longer. Let's insert an H here. Two polygroups going here, maybe longer. Oops, like this. I prefer to use this instead of QMS to extrude this one like this, and I'm gonna polygroup, and you have another something. Well, I made it very quickly, so it's not exactly the same, but okay, I can make this thing a little bit smaller like this, and this thing, whoop. I forgot to do this. This is insert a new H, and now I can whoop and make yeah, something like this. Thank you. How do you determine that the meander pattern fixes exactly wrong without intersecting at the end? Oh yeah, that's a big question. Depending on the kind of mesh that you are making, depending on the ring size, the size of the mesh, ZBrush always try to match one point from the beginning till the end. But depending on the mesh that you try to replicate on the curve, maybe in some cases will create some deformations. You need to play around with the stepping, going to the stroke, when you are working on the curve mode, maybe instead of curve step 1, you should be tweaking the amount of stepping that you need for the curve, maybe 1.1 or 1.05, maybe 1.2, to try to match the beginning and the end. It's just a matter of playing around with this setting. Yeah, extrude. Maybe QMS is more powerful because you are able to make more things than with this extrusion, with the regular extrude. But in some cases, it's not necessary to have so many options. Okay, so once you have this, what I like is to, this is, I'm gonna delete this one, this one, this one, and this one. And now you can start. I think it should be like this. Go into the brush, create insert mesh, and we want to create a new one. We already have the brush created. Coming back to the stroke, turn on the curve mode, and now we can start making things like this. You can, for the beginning, you will get this kind of issues. You can see you are not connecting, but the mesh is not good because. But anyway, this part should be the same thickness than the beginning at the end, but I need to refine it a little bit. But for now, maybe it's gonna be good. Maybe I can try to, let's say, if I, now it's going to be difficult to fix, I think. This one should be, this thickness should be the same like this one, because if I try to slide the whole thing here, we are gonna get problems here. Maybe we can make a mask, invert the mask, and maybe we can make more something like this. So let's make it again. Brush, create insert mask, new, and now let's go back to stroke curve mode, and now we are going to be able to start doing this, but the brush still needs some tweaks. So go into the brush menu, brush, you should go to modifiers, increase the curve resolution. I like it from 1 to 3, and weld points. And now you will get them. The beginning, the beginning and the end from the other they are going to be welded. That's the reason why I remove the polygons from the faces from the beginning at the end, to be able to weld everything together. And that's it. So for example, you grab a new mandrel, for example this one, for example a new cylinder, make polymesh. Let's make it bigger to give it a realistic size. For example, 20 millimeters instead of 2. Let's set this to 20. Resize up tool, and even easier than before, you can use the C modeler, for example, to grab, crease, edge loop complete, and now you can go to to the stroke, curve functions, and crease edges instead of border as I made before. Now we already have the curve, and now we can select this, the brush we created. I think it's this one with the bigger size, of course, and you will get the thing that you need. Surrounding anything, you can do this, or for example, think about a coin or a medal. I'm gonna squeeze it a little bit, and I'm going to now with the C modeler, I'm going to insert a new edge here, and I'm gonna crease this edge, crease as I made before. And now let's go back to stroke, frame mesh. Oh, I made 2 creases. I don't know why. Because I already have the crease before. I'm gonna make it again. Insert. You are here. Crease. Now we can frame the mesh now with the Same brush with this one. We already have this kind of things. This is the problems that we have here. Maybe if we can, how to fix this? Let's try it. Sometimes it's quite hard to fix depending on what we need. So we can go to modifiers and increase the resolution, the max bending angle. This is not going to be, maybe as I said before, now it's time to start playing with the with the steps. Maybe 1.1. No, maybe less. A stroke, maybe 0.9. And follow playing with the stepping, still getting a good result. And another good thing that you can do now, because the problem that we have here is that if we come back to the original mesh, the mesh is a very low poly mesh. So if we want to create more something like this, we are trying to weld one piece to the other. Let's say this is control, and this is going to be a curve, so this should be bended. So as we don't have enough polygons here, it's not possible to bend and to make a curve, because here only we have a very big faces. So maybe a good, in this case, a good option should be to add more loops here. If I insert here, for example, one, and another one here, maybe one, to be able to get a better bending on the curve. It's just a matter to be playing with the original mesh and with the settings. But at the end, it's fully able to do it. Let me read this question because I have entered the. This is an message. Yeah, I'm very happy to be helpful. Gracias, Luis Enrique. Thanks. The solution curve step sounds easy. Yeah. Right to understand super. I like the Greek pattern on the rim. Is still in. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not, as I said on my previous stream, I'm not a big fan of apply too many details on the design, but just my taste. It's for a medal. Yeah, for a medal from the front view. Yeah, for the medal, it's very useful to do it, to do this kind of technique. I use. So let me revise your questions. Okay, so we can go directly to the theme of today. So we can gonna grab this again. I'm gonna try to replicate. I'm gonna show you how to make this kind of ribbons and this kind of finishings. For example, this is going to be useful to do also this kind of things that has on the helmet. This is going to be useful to create this kind of ribbons as well. This kind of ribbon, or this one. This one is going to be a little bit more difficult because you can see here is twisted here. So from my idea is to make this in two pieces. We can make it, one piece is going to be this, and another piece are going to be the other things. This is going to be on the 1, 2, 3 pieces. It's going to be easier to split it into pieces to try to make it as a one piece. And I'm going to make, I think I'm going to make this one. I'm gonna make this one. I'm gonna show you a process, because to make this from a single block, from a single mesh, and to try to sculpt this kind of S shapes you have here, it can be very complicated to get this kind of thing that goes here, this goes behind, let's go here, let's go here, this kind of things, that this part goes behind, and this kind of finishing could be a nightmare for us, based from my experience, to try to get this kind of different levels and different flows of the on the profile, to make this just with the sculpting techniques, with just using mask to start applying different levels of, because this one is, we are looking here from the size, This one should be more something like let's go down, let's come back again. Now let's come back again, let's come back. This kind of levels that we have here. It's good. This is going to be one level. This is going to be another level. And this kind of fake illusion of volume that you can get, that you are looking for to apply on the relief, can be a very complicated process to sculpt by hand with regular brushes. I'm going to show you my process that I can tell that you are going to be able to save at least we can say 70% of you can have uh, most of the job already done. Of course, there isn't any tricks or magic processes that we can be used and you can achieve something just clicking one button or just using one process. Always you need to sculpt or to refine or touch or make different process, but you're gonna save a lot of time with this process. I'm gonna start with a plane, make a polymesh. Ooh, my English today is not good. I think I feel it. This is okay. Thank you. Insert loops. Yes, insert loops. To insert loops to get to have more mesh density to be able to bend better the pattern. Okay, so well, I already have this the plane. It's already a polymesh. Yes, I'm gonna turn on my Z from the floor. This is, yeah, I'm gonna make it bigger. I'm going to go, let's go to the draw menu. Let's grab the draw menu. I'm going to put the image, the reference image. Let's go to front back map 1. Let's import the image, this one. And I'm going to adjust the image. For example, I'm going to grab only the ribbon, this part. Okay, let's make it a little bit smaller, like this. Turn off the reason why I'm using that plane is because I am talking about to make a relief. So I'm not, this is not going to be, yeah, it could be useful for 3D, full 3D objects or figures, but this is mainly focusing on apply this kind of technique on reliefs for, as I said before, for make signets, reliefs, or works for wood or stone, carving works for many different purposes. The first step, this is the main brush. So you can see that I use this brush very often. It's going to be again the curved tube snap brush. I'm gonna make it smaller, very small. Let's see. Let's make it a little bit even smaller. Yeah, like this. It's going to be enough. And I'm going to start. I think this could be symmetrical. Yeah, it's not going to be exactly symmetrical, the drawing, but okay. We're gonna start drawing or making the tube on the border like this. And here we go. This is what we get. Once we have this, we can split the tube from the plane. Split the mesh points. This is the mesh. We can hide the plane. We are not going to need it anymore. And this is what we get. You can see that what we have is the profile or one of the lines of the drawing. This is the right, this is the good side, the left one. I can make it transparent, maybe more something like this. And here we have an issue here, I think so. I'm gonna turn this on because this is, as I was using the symmetry, this is not, they are not connected. Or here we have a kind of a strange thing here. what we can do is to make a boolean, remove by union. Now you can see it has been simmed, or it has now a sim. Now we can go to the series measure. I prefer to set this up to 0 and create a new mesh. Okay. We can. Ooh, I made something wrong. Yeah, I forgot. This is because I have this issue here. Because I should, before I start making the boolean, I have to this goes, I should go to, this should be separated. But before, and this step is very important. I'm gonna make a series measure now. Okay, you can see now it's more clearly that it is composed by two different pieces. Let's tweak this a bit. Okay, I can apply some polish in here, and maybe I'm gonna use this to make it thinner, polish by feature, to make it a little bit thinner, because I think it's too thick to be the border. So what I'm gonna do now is to create two different polygroups. With the slice curve brush, gonna make a Control W to make one polygroup. I'm going to make two different polygroups like this. Now we have two different polygroups. You can see here. Now you have the front polygroup, or from this view you can see the left polygroup and the right polygroup. And now it's time to start trying to avoid this connection with the move topological brush. This should go behind, this should go in front, should go more something like this. This is important to start trying to achieve this kind of finishing. That's the ribbon goes from the front and goes. It has this kind of shape. It's not completely flat, like this. Okay, I think it's going to be enough. And now we can make it a boolean, I think, because they are not, the surfaces are not connected anymore. So we can make the boolean to avoid this thing. I think it's already connected. I think, yeah. We can apply split to parts because we already have these little things in the middle. Split to parts. To get rid of this one, I want to delete this one. Maybe I can apply some bit of inflating here. A bit of polishing. Okay, it's not a big issue to have this kind of things in the middle. So what we can do now is, remember that we already have two different polygroups. We are going to, now this is going to be very important. It's very important to select the polygroup which is behind. It is not the front polygroup. So this is going to be the front view. Oh, I forgot to apply here the symmetry. Doesn't matter. We can use the mirroring well to get it completely symmetrical now. And now you can. This is going to be very important. This is going to be the front polygroup. This is going to be the back polygroup. It's going to be important to select the back one, this one, and we are going to apply a loop in the border. So using this option, you will find this button here. Go into edge loop. This is the crisp and edge loop. With the crisp option active, you will apply a very thin polygroup in the border. So you can see here the differences. This is with crisp, and this is without crisp. You can see the difference. Without it, you're gonna make wider polygroups in the border. So it's going to be necessary to turn this on and now apply the loop in the border. Now we can come back to the whole visibility, Control Shift and click. I'm gonna select now the pink polygroup. Let's make it. I'm gonna make the extrusion now. This is going to be very important because this profile, maybe if I select this to make the polygroups more clear, this material, like this. So now we have three polygroups. Here we have one polygroup here. This is going to polygroup number 1, polygroup number 3, and 2, and the polygroup number 3. Now we have 3 polygroups. Let's come back, repeating the same as before. Push it back. Let's watch it to the front. And we should start extruding this. And now, baby, we send it to the center. We can start making this. And now it start tweaking things. So we can grab this. I like to a lot to use this brush, the move infinitive, where we are able with active symmetry active. And now we are I'm going to try to follow the contour. Yeah, I made something wrong here. I made something wrong here at some point, I don't know where. This is going to be behind. Okay. Where I am. Let's repeat it again. Maybe I should, yeah, from this view. No, from this view. Yeah, okay. Let's fix it later. We're gonna start putting the things in place. And now it's going to be very important because we can apply this. I think I made it wrong. I am watching now what is wrong. Because I put on the front the wrong curve. I'm sorry, let's come back. Let's make it, I'm gonna use this part. Let's make it this, and make it this, because this should be behind. This is on front, and this is behind. Now, yes, I think so. Today is not my day, I think so. Yes, this is the front view. Okay, we are right now. This is the front, this is the back. Or, yeah, this is going some front, this goes behind. Okay, let's try it now. Let's make the mask now, and the bird mask, make it here, and now, yes, now it works. Let's make it bigger, and not pull it back, pull it down, pull it like this, and now we can start grabbing again this, and now we can start making the right shape here. You at this point, you don't have to be worried about this, because if I turn the polyframe, you can see we have this kind of long polygons here, so we are not going to able at this point to start doing this kind of curves that the design has. This part is not going to be possible at this point. So at this point we are only worried about the thickness of the ribbon, like this. There's going to be, and now for example something like this, and this is what we get. Of course at this point it's not good enough, so we can follow, we should be follow working. This is going to be this thick, for example. And what I do now, let's come back to my material. I can remove the mask, and to start getting more polygons here, or a different mesh here, what I do is just apply one polishing here. Then we still have this kind of issue here, but no problem. This is coming back. I'm going to repeat it. Remove the mask and apply some polishing on the surface. And we already have this, a more regular mesh to work with. And now we can, for example, select this brush And now we can start tweaking things. Now, yes, we can start bending this because here we have more polygons to work with. And now we can follow here the contours. For example, you go here, you should be a little bit. This is going to be very important to use this brush, the move topological brush, because with the move topological brush, if I am working on this area, I'm not affecting on the surrounding surfaces. This is going to be, so don't use the regular move brush, you should be using this one. Like this, like this. I think that it's already done. We can start subdividing now. Subdivide, polish, subdivide, polish again. And now we already have this kind of things done. Let's select this, just try tweaking things here. This thing, I have this issue here. I can, let's see what is happening here. Doesn't matter because at the end of the process, I'm going to use the Dynamesh again. So I'm gonna get rid of this kind of artifacts I have here. So I don't care about this. So here we have, this is what we get. This is the front view. Looks good. It's good, I think, from the front because as we are making a relief, we only are worried about the front view. We can still be tweaking things here to make it more interesting. For example, to make the curves better, like this. Now it's time to do this, to tweak as more as you want, to make it more perfect or more complex. Because once we have the Dynamesh done, it's going to be more difficult to fix these curves. So now it's time to do it. Okay, now it's ready. I think it can be ready. And now this is what the problem that we have now is we have a lot of undercuts here. This can be a piece for be reproduced with a 3D printer, but not with a CNC machine or with a curve, or it doesn't work yet as a relief. So we still need to remove all the undercuts. How to do it? Now remember that we still have different polygroups, but now it's time to convert everything into only one polygroup. Now using the Control W shortcut, we only have one polygroup, and now we can go to the polygroups and use this feature. That it's a very handy feature when you are making reliefs. So group front, and this is what we get. We have one polygroup on the front. I'm gonna change the color. And we have another polygroup on the back because the polygroup is made based on the camera, on the position of the mesh based on the camera view. So this is what we have. So again, now we can repeat the same operation as before that we did. So we can select, this is very important, the back polygroup. Now apply one crisp edge loop in the border. If we already have subdivision levels, the ZBrush doesn't allow us to make the loop, but we don't need the subdivision. We can delete them, make the edge loop, and now we can, this is also very important step, with the dot open, you can start polishing a little bit the mesh. So I can now repeat the same as before, and we can create the relief. There you go. We already have the relief completely ready. And maybe I can make it thicker. This without any undercuts. I'm going to, for example, I'm going to use, this is the plane I was using before. I'm going to apply cube. To explain you better, that I'm going to cut the back part. Let's make it bigger, make it wider like this. Put it here. And this is going to be a negative, like booleans, and this is what we get. We can, for example, well, we can trick from this view. We can, for example, we can apply an arc here, making something more like this. And from this view, the same. No, this view I think will be better to trick it by hand. This is going to be higher. And for example, we can make it not so high here. And we already have a relief of a ribbon with all of the necessary forms. Maybe we can make it more interesting if we go here, we go there, we go here, make it more something more wavy from this view. And once we are happy with the overall look, we can go now and convert it into Dynamesh to merge everything together to try to start making the one single watertight mesh we can get rid of, because we still have this kind of issue. You can still have these things on the mesh. Let's say we can relax it, smoothing the surface a little bit, but it's not going to be a big issue once we have this mesh converted into a dynamic. We still have this kind of things here in the middle, so let's come back. Let's go to the subplugin, and remember that I very often use this plugin, Dynamesh utility. Let's convert it into Dynamesh, and now we can get rid of this. And now we can start smoothing the surface, and we have a completely ready for piece, ready for being used as a relief, with the necessary forms, the necessary shapes, the necessary effect from the front view. What we can do now, for example, we can turn the symmetry, we can grab this brush, we can apply and start sculpting this kind of detail on the surface if you want. Start refining. You can start refining it here, refining there, but you already have the most complex part to make is to achieve this kind of shape here. Another tip that I can give you is using the move brush with the back face active. You can start applying more thickness in some areas, like this, here and there, to start getting a more realistic effect, or better effect. Okay, so this is the first example. We are gonna make another example now to try to give you more examples. What you can do also, depending on the size of the ribbon, maybe this is going to be a ribbon that is going to be used on a ring, on a signet ring. This is going to be a very small part of the design. But for example, this is going to be a ribbon for a big piece carved on stone or in wood. You can do this. I like to use this brush, the chisel brush, with less radius. Okay, but this is also very common to see this kind of effect on the ribbons. Maybe I can use this another tool. Maybe this one looks better. Maybe this one. Yeah, this one, I think so. I use again. I'm gonna grab the stroke menu, and you can start interpolating. Before doing anything, I'm gonna start my morph target. You can do this. I'm gonna start interpolating the strokes. Maybe 10 are too many. Like this. As we let's make them longer. For example, from here to here. Interpolate, and now we can grab our morph target, and we can start deciding, for example, that we want to remove this, or even to do this, something like this, and you will get this kind of effect. This is very common to see this kind of effect on this kind of designs. Of course, to have to retain this kind of detail on a printed version, that's going to be difficult, I think. Instead of 8 strokes, as I already have, maybe will be a better idea to have less, maybe 4 or less, because this is going to be too tiny on a ring. No, this doesn't work. Maybe we can try something like this. No, I don't like it. Let's try with 3. Let's try with 2. Okay. And you're gonna start getting this kind of, or you can remove 2, because as we save the morph target, we are gonna be able to do this kind of things. Okay, this one is ready. I'm gonna I think I missed many questions here. I'm sorry, because I was on the wrong part of the chat. What's the difference? I'm sorry, I'm gonna review again your question. So, hello, good morning. Hi. Creo que el tema es que están cruzados. Ya. Yeah. Tengo los cables cruzados, sí, hoy. También. Nacho, what's the difference between Move Infinitive and the other move tools? Yeah, the Move Infinitive. Fexter is asking, what's the difference? This is a good question. What's the difference between the regular move process, and the Move Infinitive? With the Move Infinitive, you're gonna be able to move. Let's me think how to explain it, because this is, for example, this is going to be I'm gonna make a real example. For example, and this is going to be very handy and very useful when you are making reliefs, because, for example, you can see here this curve. You don't like this curve. This the original shape is this one, but you are looking for to get something more like this, for example. A little bit bigger or wider. So if you select the default move brush, you grab the move brush and you start making what you want. You're gonna start refining the shape that you want. You are only affecting the points or the polygons. You are touching on this part of the surface. You can see what is happening on the back. Nothing is happening on the back, and this is not going to be good because with this process you're gonna start creating undercuts. So this is not what you want. You are looking for more 90 degrees from the surface as we are talking about reliefs. And you're gonna see now the big difference between this brush, the regular move brush, and the move infinity brush, which is able to work with an infinitive depth. So you're gonna start doing this, making more changes, for example, and you can see the same that it's happening in the front is happening on the back. So this becomes very, very useful when you are refining or tweaking or moving surfaces of software rig, because you are not going to lose the 90 degrees from the surface as I did before with the regular move brush. This is a good addition from when you are working with reliefs. For example, I don't like this curve. I'm looking for example, to make more something like this. With the move infinity, you are only worried about the front view. This is the main view when you are working on a relief. So with this brush, everything is happening on the back at the same time that you are adjusting or you are tweaking the front. So very, very handy. I love to use this brush with when you are making reliefs. You can start tweaking things like this. Crazy, yeah, crazy cool method. Yeah, it has been a little bit crazy because I have been lost during the process. I'm gonna repeat it again with another example. You prefer to save C tool during the process of, or yeah, I prefer to work with C tools instead of projects, because when you are saving a project, you are saving much more information that maybe that you need. So you're gonna be creating heavier files instead of when you are saving as C tool. I prefer to save as C tool instead of C project. How good I apply the letters to it? By hand. I'm impressed by how easy it looks to create this. I think I'm gonna make another example to try to make an overview of the process. But as I said before, the most difficult thing, I'm gonna coming back to the original, this point, for example. But this is the most complex thing when you are doing this, is this kind of things. When you are, I don't know how to say it in English, because you have this kind of gaps here, and you have the curve, you have the steps, you have the more curves, more steps, more volumes, and everything should be look clean on the front. But if you try to do this sculpting by hand, I'm sure that it's going to take the double amount of time than using this process or this method. Dark Art of Hogwarts. Yes, that is a good sample for this kind of coat of arms that can be used on Hogwarts. Yes. Yeah, sure. You can, for example, if I come back, Turbo Grappler is asking if I can combine move infinitive and topological. Yes, if I, for example, let's duplicate this. This should be the original. Let's come back to with the history till here. We still have a regular mesh. This is not this is not a Dynamesh yet. For example, if you want to, for example, if you start pulling or pushing this area, you can see that you are affecting not only to this curve, only you are affecting on this, on here. But if you apply the topological feature to this brush, you are going to be able to do the same thing without affecting the other. So that's the reason why I said before, now it's the moment to start tweaking the different levels or the different steps, because once you got it, everything converted into a Dynamesh, everything is going to be as a one single block. There is not going to be time to do this. So before go to Dynamesh, it's time to start refining these shapes. Once you like this, you can convert it into a Dynamesh, so you can start detailing the surface. But this is not going to be necessary to touch this kind of thing anymore. But you can see how powerful is this with the move topological and the infinity brush, both things together. Would it be possible to adjust the curve instead of moving the mesh to readjust? Is good. the curve. What you're referring about the curve? If it is possible to adjust the curve instead of moving the mesh, which curve do you want to adjust? What key do you press to access the drop-down menu window when using C modular? This is the space bar. When you are using the C modular, you press the space bar, and you will get the C modular options. I refer to the start of creating the curve. No, no. This is once you have the curve, you can edit again the curve. I don't know if I understand you well. It will be nice if we had control over which areas of a job would or would not be closed by Dynamesh. Yeah, yes, but the Dynamesh close everything into one piece. It's not going to be possible to tell to ZBrush. Just use Dynamesh here, but not there. But I think the answer for that question is to try to work with two different pieces into different subtools to decide which subtool you want to convert it into Dynamesh and which ones not. So to talk about the lettering, I think about the lettering, I think I know that maybe ZBrush is not so powerful than another software when you have more control with curves or Bezier curves, or when you apply a curve and you can write a test following the curve. This is not going to be possible with ZBrush. What you can do is do it by hand, as I said before. For example, if you go to the plugin, it's going to take a little bit more time, but at the end, it's going to be possible. You can use this plugin, 3D and vector shapes. And for example, I'm going to create a new test, maybe ZBrush Live, for example. Now I have the test. Let's select a more interesting font. Maybe this one. This looks like more like a B. So maybe, yeah, maybe this one. Remember that you can apply some settings. We can apply more extrusion. You can apply, I prefer to apply the maximum value of resolution and a bit of beveling in the border. Not that much, maybe 7, like this. And now what you can do now is to make it smaller and start applying with the deformers, or you can split each letter as a one single subtool and start placing each letter into the right place. Gonna take a bit of time, but you can do it. Yeah, I maybe I understood what you mean. At the beginning, right after using the curved tube snap, I don't recommend to you. I'm going to make another example. Let's come back to the here. We can make another. Let's come back here. You see, you use the Dynamesh in the transpose tool. You can mask of part you don't want. Dynamesh. Yeah, with this. Yeah, but why do you need to do that? You are saying turbo grappler. You are saying when using this remesh by Dynamesh, you can make, for example, make a mask here, invert the mask. And what? Come on, yeah. And now you can reproject the smoothness. And you can apply the Dynamesh to the whole thing. I don't know what you are saying. In the transpose tool, you can mask off part you don't want to Dynamesh it. Hi, what's up? Welcome to the stream. I got it using the Alt key. Lets you edit the curve. Yes, but I prefer to. This is my personal opinion. I don't like to touch too much the curve. I'm gonna use another example. Where is my? I'm gonna change the image. Maybe I'm going to use. I'm going to use this one. No, this. Or where are you? This one. Let's adjust it. Okay. Curve tube snap with symmetry. I can start painting the curve. I forgot to say before, but for example, if you're not good with freehand to start making curves, to start, for example, making something something like this, it's not a perfect curve, of course. Remember that you have the option or start pressing the number 6 from your keyboard, number 6, many times, updating the curve, number 6 again, update the curve, number 6, update the curve, and you are going to start applying tension to the curve, so you will refine a better curve. Of course, you can start tweaking the curve you want at some point, but I don't like to try to avoid to do this, but of course you can do it if you want. I prefer to touch the or fix the mesh instead of the curve, so you can apply number 6 again. Now it's ready, so now you can split it, split mass points. This is what we get. Now we can, here we can make a boolean, remove by union. Now we can say accept. Let's close this. We can go series measure 0, apply some polishing, and now it's time to start tweaking the curve if you want. If you don't like this shape, because you can see this curve, this arc is not completely perfect, you can now use your move infinitive with your topological option active, and you can start with the symmetry active. Of course, you can start applying your modifications before follow with following with the process. So now we can this view, slice curve, slice the mesh in the middle, select the back polygroup, apply a edge loop in the border with the crisp option active. Let's apply some polishing here, put it straight like this, and this is going to be like this. You can do it like this, and now we can move the move infinitive. And you will get the ribbon. You can squish it if necessary. Once you have this, you can start polishing, and you will get the shape. Yeah, it's better for me. It's better to edit the mesh instead of be playing with the curve. With the curves, reaction sometimes is not good. So I prefer to edit the mesh. Thank you very much, Marcin. Glad you like my streams. I really appreciate it. 2 or more meshes. Yeah, 2 or more meshes. Yes. Yeah, if you have 2 meshes, of course you can decide which mesh you want to apply to the Dynamesh. So now once we are here, we can apply more subdivisions. We can apply more polishing, Now we can get rid of the subdivision because we are not going to need them anymore. Let's create a new polygroup. Control W, group front now, polygroups, group front. Now select the back again. Apply a new edge loop in the border. Let's apply some. The reason why I use this is this, because you can see this jagged edge in the border. So if you apply some polishing, you will make it more smooth as before, smoother as before. So now you can ZBrush, and now you can, it is completely done without undercuts. Of course, you can use the new scissors brushes, but this time is going to happen something weird. You can see we try to cut this, nothing happened, the brush doesn't work. But why? Because here we have this kind of long topology on the border, so I prefer to use a boolean instead of using the brush. But if we convert this into Dynamesh, we're going to be able to use the knife brush, I think. So let's convert it into Dynamesh, and now we can get rid the back part. Chop. Ready. And now we can, for example, send it to the center. We can apply a bend arc. We can apply an arc or whatever we want. We can bend an arc, or for example, we can use the bend curve. We can use this resolution, less resolution. Let's apply symmetry axis 1, I think it's 1. Maybe it's the symmetrical 1. I want to make it symmetrical, and now we can start making the changes that we want. But you can see the best thing about this process is that you don't have any undercuts, and you still have the complex shapes on the front view. How do you create the floral type of accent design like the one of the ring you show at the beginning? You should be revising my previous streams. I was starting from the beginning to start making the different scrolls and the patterns on my 2 previous streams. Thank you very much. A lot of cool content here. Thanks for thanks a lot, Bruno. You have a completely different approach. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe sometimes I feel that the way that I do the things, or the things that I do, is completely different than other people are doing. But it's not a matter of being special or different, because. But I think the main reason is because my clients are always request to me this kind of things instead of making more popular ZBrush works as characters of monster or superheroes or whatever. There's another feature that I like to use is the taper. We can apply some tapering here. You can start making many different changes. I'm going to show you another example. This is going to be the last one. That it's going to be this one, because this is not going to be only useful for ribbons. Of course, this is the main usage of this. It could be main ribbons for. I'm gonna select another example. I'm gonna use this kind of, and also it's going to be very useful for drapery or to make cloths like this. I'm gonna make it bigger. Always talking about reliefs, okay? So no undercuts, 90 degrees from the surface and things like this. We are here. We are not making stuff for 3D figures or so. Of course, maybe you can use this as well for 3D figures, but I'm gonna show you. Maybe if we have time, I can show you an example about how to use this for clothes. But for example, let's start again with the curved tube snap. Without symmetry, you can start drawing the border like this. Let's make it a little bit smaller, even more, like this. I recommend to you to make it smaller, to don't make it too thick, the tube. So let's split mask points. This is the starting point. I prefer to change the topology. Okay, the topology I think is just good enough. Maybe if I apply more, subdivide it once, delete lower, slice in the middle, select the back, crisp, edge loop, polish. Now you can extrude this a little bit longer, and now you can start grabbing this, and you can start whip. Let's start applying what you want. Let's grab the move infinitive with the topological thing active, and we can start like this. Remember that don't try to make this bending now. This is not going to be possible to apply this, to pull this down to try to achieve this kind of curve, because we don't have enough geometry yet. We can, this is going to be more something like this. Remove the mask. Now you can start polishing, and when you start polishing, you're going to start getting more segments, or whatever you can call them, and you can start. Don't be worried about the topology, because once we have the Dynamesh, it's going to be possible to fix it or to make it more beautiful as it is now. At this point, we are only worried about the main shapes, like this. Now we can squeeze it. Let's subdivide it and polish it again. And now it's time repeating the same as before. Control W, front, group front, select the back polygroup, apply a edge loop. We have subdivisions, we can remove the subdivisions. Edge loop, polish by features, select the mask the back polygroup, and here we have the, and of course we can let's start making. I think should be better to do this once we already have the Dynamesh. So once you have this, you can convert it into Dynamesh. Everything is welded together. You can smooth now the surface as more as you want, and now it's time to, I'm gonna remove the topological thing. Now it's time to apply some movements, or applying some curves here, or to get rid of the backside with the knife curve brush. And now you have the piece necessary of the sculpting. You can see without any undercuts, with all the stuff already done with the curves. Nacho makes this looks easy. His approach is really intuitive. Yeah, I like to hear that, because I always try to explain myself as best as I can, to try to show you my way of works. Maybe sometimes things looks easy for you because you are used to make it many times during your day on your job, but when you try to explain or tells to other people what you are doing, sometimes things becomes more difficult than you are thinking. But I like that you are still thinking that looks simple. Need to make some superhero flourishes and scrolls. Yeah, superhero. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking for, yeah. Yeah, don't. After me, I think now it's 25 minutes to 7 here in Spain. In 1 hour after, we're gonna be watching the new event about the new features of ZBrush. What does the crisp tool? The crisp, I'm gonna repeat it again. The crisp tool does, for example, I'm gonna select this in a sphere. Let's make a polymesh. Let's. I'm gonna show you, for example. Let I'm gonna make a kind of a smiley thing. Let's. I'm looking for this one. I'm gonna make 2 circles. I'm gonna make a new polygroup, Control W. And now if I select this one, if I select the crisp, when I make it the polygroup, you can see it's almost invisible because it is very thin. If we don't have this option active, we will get a bigger polygroup on the border. That's it. So the crisp is more finer or more crispy polygroup on the border. So when I apply crisp, we can polish by features, and now we can control, and now we can apply the eyes. So this is going to this vertical wall is the polygroup we made before with the H loop. This is a very useful process for any hard surface stuff sculpting. Now you can go to series measure. Let's make it like this and start polishing or start creating a new mesh. The crisp, I prefer to use, that's the reason why I have this button here on my custom interface, but sometimes I like to use the crisp and sometimes not, because when I have a more dense mesh, it's not necessary to use the crisp, but when we are working with a very low poly meshes, most of the cases it's better to use the crisp instead of not. Yeah, the leathering, I was explaining it before. Look at what, and how do you add the leathering so that is showing when printed on? Yeah, I was talking about that. This is a Kili Silverio. Depending on the size of the piece, because if you are making a ring, you should be thinking about the final printing size, because sometimes, in most of the cases, the leathering doesn't cast well, depending on the size. But if you are gonna use this on a plate for a wall, or I don't know, for a church, or I don't know, whatever, in that case, the size is not going to be so important. I think the advice is that if you are thinking about to add leathering like this, maybe the main rule could be that the minimum thickness can't be less than 1.6 millimeter. Try to stay always over 0.6 millimeter. If not, maybe you are going to have problems on printing and of course on casting. And try to avoid thin fonts when you are putting test on a ring or on a jewelry design. Try to avoid this kind of letters or lettering or fonts that has very thin parts like this and very bold parts. Try to avoid these kind of things. Try to avoid to select this kind of wrong fonts. But the lettering, yeah, they are very tricky. I know what you mean. They are very tricky, and I didn't even know where there was a crisp button. Yeah, crisp button. This is very, very important. This is very important. I'm gonna try to make a quick searching, because this is going to be, you can see this is going to be very useful when you are making drapery. For example, another good thing that you can do, if I grab, for example, let's grab tool. I'm gonna use this. my this is my friend. Now it has hair. I didn't see it before. Okay, no problem. I don't want to see the hair. What you can do now is, for example, if I use a plane using the same process as before, let's apply a plane. Where are you? Here. Let's put it horizontal, not you, the plane, like this. Let's make it smaller. What you can do is you can start. Maybe I'm gonna try to hide the arms with this, like this. And now you can, for example, select your curve tube snap again, as before. I'm not going to use any symmetry. You can start. Oop. Where is the tube? Okay, yeah, because I was using the figure instead of the plane. Let's make it again. Boink. Let's make it very thin. How to save time? Okay. Maybe it is so small. The figure is so small that it's not going to be possible to make it smaller. Okay, that's no problem. Split mask point. Select this part. Like we can start polishing to make it thinner. Same thing as before. Let's apply more polygons. Slice. Mesh in the middle. Select this poly group. Crisp. Edge loop. Mask now this. I need to hide this one. This. Let's send it to the middle. Then make it bigger. And now you can put it here. And you already have this kind of fold already made. And I think this is going to be very complex. For example, I'm gonna repeat it because I don't like what I did. Let's do it. Split mask points. Let's grab the plane because sometimes it's quite difficult to sculpt this kind of thing. I'm gonna make a kind of, I don't know how to say it in English. This one kind of drapery in the front. Curve tube snap. When you have things like this, number 6 for the, now you can split mask point. This is what we have. What is the tube? I did something wrong. Oh, here is the tube. The tube is here. Okay, split. Here is the tube. Okay. So now we can repeating the same as before. Slice curve. I'm gonna slice this. Select this. Now it's the upper part. Crisp. Edge loop. Polish. Apply some polishing. Select this poly group, and now you can choop. You can, for example, apply some tapering here. Gizmo, make it bigger, and now we can apply some arc here, like this, and now we can put it here, and now we can apply some polishing. Now it's not going to be possible because the polygons are so long that maybe it's going to be better now to make a new series measure now to be working with this. And now here what you have. And this is this kind of shape when you have the profile comes in and comes out to try to match this kind of with the fabric folds and start making this kind of S shapes, very complex form. This is quite difficult to sculpt from a single mesh. Could you share your UI? Yeah, I can share it. You can send me an email or something. I can share it with you. Yeah. So this kind of thing is very useful to achieve. Of course, from this point you can start breaking things like this. You can start sculpting the mesh here. And for example, I don't know, maybe you can apply some with the bend curve here with less resolution. You can start without the symmetry. I don't want symmetry. Okay, this is curve resolution, curve axis, and this is the symmetry. This is the symmetry cone. Okay, now you can start making things like this. But as a starting point, maybe we can say we have mostly the most difficult part already made, where we have this kind of S shapes, and we can follow tricking things. So this is not going to be only useful for ribbons, we were saying before, but also you can do this kind of things. Or for example, for a cap of a superhero, as we were talking about superheroes before. So we can start again with the curved tube snap. We can start making things like this. The split, grabbing the tube, slice the mesh. It's very important the edge loop, right, with the crisp. And this is going to be the cape. And from here you can now make a new topology, keeping groups. I prefer to set this up to 0 to get as more quads as possible. And now you can start adding the movement. Let's hide this. Come on, let's hide this, and we can refine in this. For example, bend curve again, and we can same process with the ribbon, but apply it to a kind of cape, for example. Let's grab this portion, blur, invert, gizmo. I need you here, this angle, like this, and we can the cape. Maybe this. The top should be. And you can see how difficult it is to achieve this kind of profile, but with this process you already got it. Yes, man, you give me solutions to 2 commissions coming from for the next week. Glad to hear that. Yeah, The things that I thought will be a problem was converted into this. Yes, really? I'm really happy with that. I have been so useful for you. But you can see this is a, where is the curve? The curve is here. You can stroke, curve functions, delete. And this is my superhero with my, of course you can start, for example, I don't know, maybe you can apply here more definition. And for example, if we grab the cloth brushes, let's apply less intensity to apply. I don't like it too much, but in some cases they are going, they can be very useful. You want to apply more. But the feeling that I have is I don't have under control what I want to do. So that's the reason why I don't like it too much, because the results are based on random things or mathematics. So I prefer to sculpt by hand the clothes instead of, but okay, what you can do now, we can make a mask and apply some dynamics here. Let's collision volume and run simulation. You can start playing with dynamics to start adding more real to make the cloth more realistic. So let's come back to dynamics. I'm not very because I don't use them very often. But of course you can do it. You can do it. You can dynamic and run simulation. Of course, come on. So let's go to recalculate, and I don't know how to control this. Maybe applying less strength and run simulation. Okay, but you can do it. I don't know how, because I'm not very used to use this feature, but you can do. But you can apply even more realism to the cloths. Turn down the simulation iterations. Maybe yes. Recalculate, and no, still happening the same, even more as before. Maybe I can apply it more. Maybe I can apply floor collision volume, run simulation. No, yeah, no, yes. I think it looks like, and then it should be applied to the unmasked on brushed. This is right. Run simulation. Let's say what happened with the cape. Oops. Some strange things are happening. Stop. Okay, you can use this dynamics if you want, but this is what I want to show you. It's how important is being creating the base mesh with this kind of technique. Okay, yes, I'm gonna, yes, less gravity. I don't know. There are many settings. Gravity. What is the gravity? Gravity strength. Maybe less gravity. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what happens. Maybe my dynamic iteration is too high. Run simulation. Come on, nothing happens. Maybe less. Straight border, self collision, start collision, and run simulation. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. Oh yeah, because I need to. No, I still need to read more about this feature because I don't know how to control it yet. Okay, doesn't matter. Gravity is 0. Yeah, the gravity is. Let's apply a little bit more. Calculate, run simulation. Now yes, but maybe less. You maybe yes, but you can do it. But you can see here the what you have is this kind of complex shape already made with this kind of technique. So you can apply it with ribbons on drapery purposes like this. This is very common to see things like this on saints and the religious figures when they have very long clothes that falls down till the floor, getting this kind of shapes, and which they are very difficult to sculpt. And this is another a process that you can use to achieve this kind of things. Lightbox presents for different cloth types will be nice. Yes. You're telling about settings? Hmm. Yeah, could be a good addition. I'm looking for a solution how have all my files on multiple computers using a cloud and but have everything visible on Lightbox. No, it is not possible. Visibles is Lightbox is always searching on a one into a one folder. Ever jumping from one computer? No, it's not possible to do that. I think so. As far as I know, I don't have a very deep knowledge about computers, but I think so. As far as I know, Lightbox is only able to look into one folder. Yeah, I have been trying. Yeah, yeah. I want to try it again, the new feature for fast release, but I'm a bit skeptical about it. I think I should be put my hands on it and try it more. But that till now, I'm a bit skeptical about how useful it's going to be for me. I think so. So, any of you was asking about if I have Instagram? Yeah, now it's almost 2 minutes to 7. We are almost done. So I'm gonna show you my links because to try to don't forget to show you where you can find me. You can. I'm gonna show you here. This is my Instagram. You will find me on Escultura Digital 15 is Digital Sculptor 15, and here you will find my Instagram. Also, you can find me on ArtStation, of course. Nacho Riesco, Gostanza, on this is my ArtStation. Or if you type in nachoriesco.com, this is my official website. You can go to the galleries, and here you will find my digital renders. And you can see also some samples of the pieces that I manufacture with some of my friends, or sometimes my clients that sends to me picture from the finished pieces or in progress pictures. So here you will find a lot of stuff of my work. So Instagram, ArtStation, or my webpage. Okay, so stay here till maybe 1 hour. Maybe now here in Spain is 7 in the evening. I still need to wait 1 hour more, and the new event will start of ZBrush, where you are gonna be able to see. I'm gonna show you here. You're gonna able to see the new features which are coming in the new version, 2022 version of ZBrush. I strongly recommend to you to stay here and try to watch it because I don't know. I think, yeah, I know this is going to be a very interesting event, I think so. Okay, so I believe it's going to be good, very good start to start sculpting. What do you mean about Angle 79? I believe it's going to be a very good start to start sculpting. Yeah, are you talking about the new bas relief feature? Yeah, yes, I think as far as I know about it, and it's that I think maybe you can. This is going to be a good starting point to start creating your base mesh to start sculpting. And it's going to be very useful when you have to make a relief with a very difficult perspective. So this is going to be very useful to try to give you the right perspective to start sculpting and start refining the details, I think. But I follow thinking that there isn't any button or any techniques magical where you can just click apply a button and apply uh, a digital process and you're gonna get 80% or 90% of the job already done. So talking about reliefs, it takes a lot of time to make. Maybe you can have 20 or even less, 10% of the job already done. And from that point, you can start sculpting. So you're going to save that amount of time. But I still thinking that it still does exist the magic button that creates reliefs from nothing. Oh, okay, and of course you need the 3D model before apply that technique. But this is going to be a very helpful new feature, I think so. Anyway, search for relaxing life in YouTube. Yeah, they would be nice when ZBrush will offer a media storage like Fusion, all files, even on hand, even if main PC. What do you mean about the media storage? For what? For base meshes or for something? Or yeah, or you are talking about the Lightbox again. Yeah, it can be like kind of cloud storage or something. Appreciate, yes, yeah. You are welcome. I really appreciate that you are here watching my stream, not today, but even my previous streams. I will be start thinking about which is going to be the theme for my future streamings. At this moment, ha have I don't have it very clear, so maybe it's going to be the 1st of December, maybe, and the Wednesday that I'm gonna follow with my streams, but I don't know which is going to be the theme for my next streams. It's a magic, yeah, it's a magic button, you know it. Yeah, the thing that I think from based from my experience, I think I can say that the most complex things that I do is it's always related to reliefs because it's a mix of 2D and 3D where you need to have a good eye of the 2D drawing and apply it on a 3D or almost 3D sculpture, and it's real complicated. Beautiful work. Thanks for sharing your techniques. You are welcome. Thanks to you for being here, and we'll see you again. You will see me again maybe the 1st of December. Yes, I think I'm gonna try to stream to make my next live session on of the 1st of September, and maybe I should be thinking about something different, or maybe we can talk about more about reliefs, maybe not, I don't know, or maybe to start making a ring. I have something in mind, but I still think about it. Do you have any suggestions or any uh, process that you are interested in? Just leave your messages on the video and I will try to read them and to try to get them into account, and I will try to think something about what you need or what you want to see on my future stream. Greek floor stones. What do you mean about Greek floor stones? Greek? What is that? Greek floor stones. Are you talking about a mosaic or something similar? I don't know. mosaic. Yeah, you can. I don't know if you already know this. Uh, let's say maybe you can use this technique. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna use this skull I have here. You go here to remesh and you apply this to 0. You can do this. Maybe you can apply something like this to a plane. You can get something similar. I don't know. To get this kind of finishing, to try to get some, I don't know. Maybe I should know more details about what you need. I don't know. Mosaic small hinges for jewelry. Yeah, yeah, but this is more technical. I'm not a very technical guide about it. I'm more focused about organic or sculpting thematic things. Maybe because things about hinges and connections is you can make almost everything with booleans. I think sandstone. Sandstone. I don't know what you really to mean. Okay, you can put a link or something on the video about what you're looking for. That will help. Okay, so see you on my next stream. Hope this has been useful. What today we have been doing. Where are my ribbons? My ribbon here. We were making things like this. 1, 2, and 3. We were making this kind of thing. So glad that you find it useful. So I will see you on my next stream. Thank you very much for being here on my stream during my stream, and thanks to you, all of you who are going to watch my stream. Not now, but maybe tomorrow or a day after the live session. So again, thank you very much, and hope to see you soon in December. Take care. Stay here again for 1 hour, or now for now it's even less than 1 hour for the event of ZBrush, and take care and adios, gracias, and thank you very much again. Goodbye.